Hey guys, this is Carrie Rhinehart with 5 Minute Math. Today I am looking at solving quadratic equations. I'm specifically just doing a quick review on them. If you need more information on each process, please refer to Algebra 1 Unit 7. I have a video on each way to solve a quadratic equation. This is just reviewing the 4 ways to do that. And if you're following along in the book, this is from Algebra 2 Unit 1 Lesson 4. So I'm just reviewing solving quadratic equations. Okay, when we solve a quadratic equation, what we're finding is actually the x-intercepts of that quadratic equation. So the x-intercepts, we also call those roots, we call them zeros, and we call them solutions. There are 4 ways to say x-intercept. Just where is this quadratic? And if we graphed it, remember quadratic is a U either opening up or down. So when we solve a quadratic equation, we're actually finding where it crosses the x-axis, the x-intercepts. We call those roots, zeros, and solutions. And remember, quadratic, it has to have an x squared in it. So the normal form of a quadratic is ax squared plus bx plus c. Sometimes b or c can be 0, but you have to have the x squared part in there. And there's 4 ways to solve quadratic equations. The first one is factoring. Remember, with factoring, you get the quadratic equal to 0. Okay, get it equal to 0. You factor it, and then you set your factors equal to 0 to get those x-intercepts. Another way is the square root method. This you can do when you can get the square by itself, the perfect square by itself, and there's just a constant on the other side. That's normally when b is 0, so there's no x in there, okay? Or if you've got a perfect square binomial. Another way is by completing the square. This one is not used very often, but again, you can find a video in Algebra 1, Unit 7. And then the one that's used the most is the quadratic formula. You can always use the quadratic formula. The other methods cannot always be used. The quadratic formula can always be used. And remember, the quadratic formula to find x, or your x-intercepts, it's negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. That is the quadratic formula.